Would you believe me if I told you that I took my glutes from this to this? Without squatting super heavy, without training 3 times a week, without doing high volume training. If you're new here, I'm Trish. I've been coaching for nearly 20 years. I'm also a drug-free athlete. I have 3 world titles. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how I built shape and definition in my glutes without following any of the trendy advice on social media. You can use this as a standalone workout. You can use it as a warm-up before you lift weights, or you can use it as a dedicated rehab or mobility session. Just make sure that you don't miss any parts of this. Every single part is just as important as the next part. I'm gonna take you into the gym and we'll do it now.
One thing I've spent a lot of time working on over the years is stretching my intercostals, the muscles that sit between your ribs. Most people never actually think about them, but if your rib cage is stiff, your thoracic spine cannot rotate or extend properly, and that changes the way you squat. When you improve movement through your rib cage, everything below it suddenly has a lot more freedom to move. So I'm lying back on the foam roller with my butt on the ground, specifically to stretch out through the front of my body. And you'll see here how I'm going to stay here for quite a while, and I'm going to breathe in, try to expand my rib cage, and then breathe out. I also like to have the soles of my feet together and my knees dropped out to the side, because then it will passively stretch out the hips. And if I bring my arms up and over my head, I also start to get a nice stretch through the chest and the shoulders. So being able to keep your chest up and a nice neutral spine when you squat often comes down to your mobility through your rib cage and your thoracic spine. So this is one little 1%er that I really focused on for years, and it very much helped me with improving the depth in my squat. Next, I'm going to start fluttering my knees as a passive stretch for the hips and for the adductors. And you'll see I'm holding on to the top of the foam roller. So if you're doing this, it's always more helpful to use a long foam roller, because it's helping to keep that really strong stretch through the chest and the shoulders while opening up the hips at the same time. When you squat, if you're tight in your adductors or you're tight in your hips, it does make quite a big difference. So I like to lie here for a little while, flutter out the knees. Sometimes I have my hands wider like this too, because it helps to get more of a stretch through the chest and the shoulders. When you're holding the bar for a squat, people often forget how much mobility you need through the front of your shoulder and through your chest. So I like to stretch that part out at the same time. And then this mobility drill I learned from a pole dancer. This is going to stretch out not just the middle parts of your back and your upper back, but also help you get more mobility through the rib cage. So it's helping you to improve mobility through the middle part of your body, which in turn helps you to maintain that nice neutral spine when you're squatting. And by keeping my hands on the foam roller, I'm able to push my chest down towards the ground and then rock forward and back. So this is great mobility for your upper back, as well as going through the rib cage again. If you can get your chest on the floor, that's a pretty good sign you've got good mobility. I'm not quite there. I'm a lot closer than I used to be, but still not fantastic. Always room for improvement. Next, I'm going to start working on my ankles and my calves, which if you do any cardio at all, any type, you never realize how tight your calves are until you start to roll them out like this. So it does take a little bit of upper body strength to do this one, but I'm rolling forward and back and I'm turning my toes inwards and then I'm turning them outwards. Being able to get low in a squat and hit full depth on a squat is often limited by ankle mobility. So stretching the ankles and the calves is so important, and if you're tight in that area, it won't happen the first time you do this. You have to do it consistently. And you can see in my face I am not enjoying it today. If you find any really sore spots, just make sure you stop on that spot for a little bit and put a little bit of pressure on it. Today they're just sore everywhere. There's no particular area where it's sore. My calves are just tight like rocks. This is also another good way of getting extra blood flow through your body too. So just helping your joints to stay that little bit more mobile. It's just encouraging blood flow through the area. So the rolling forward and back is, even though it's painful, it feels good at the same time. But foam rolling is just one of those areas where so many people neglect because it's not nice while you do it, but if you do it consistently, it makes a really big difference. Now I'm going back to improving the mobility in my rib cage, but see how I've changed the angle of the foam roller. So now it's horizontal instead of vertical up my back. So this is a more intense version of the stretch that I did before because now there's a bigger arch going through my back. So I always do this one second because now I've warmed up a little bit. I'm able to increase the stretch that little bit more. I've got my hands or my fingers are pistol grip together, and I'm trying to stretch my arms out as long as I can. So I'm stretching not just the intercostals, but also the chest and the shoulders. And then sometimes it actually starts to hurt through the hips a little bit because the stretch is just so intense. So I bring my knees together for a rest and then I bring them back down again. Always try and hold these stretches for at least a minute if you can. Fluttering the knees if it feels good, but today I'm like, oh, that's enough. That's enough. Let's go do something else. Okay, I don't know why, I always like to work with a 15 kilo bar. So that's a 15 kilo bar with a 2.5 each side. The 15 kilo bars are thinner, so they're just a little bit easier to hold, and I think once you start going heavy, it just feels like there's a little bit less pressure on my back. And I'm going to do 12 squats. And I'm going to do a lot of sets. The first set is really just, obviously, to start warming up the muscles, stretching out the muscle fibers, especially like in the hamstrings and the glutes. But it's also to help me understand if there's any other parts of my body that are tight and need a little bit more stretch and a little bit more mobility before I move on to the next warm-up set. So even though I do all these mobility drills every time, I often do them in a different order depending on how tight I feel. And some of them I might do several times. So I am already able to hit full depth in that squat, but I can feel that my back is still tight. Let's remove one layer. This is a hip swing, so an active stretch for the hip flexors, which again, if you're tight in your hips, it really holds you back on being able to squat with good form. So after I've done one warm-up set of squats, I like to do an active stretch because it helps encourage more blood flow through the area, which again makes it easier to stretch, helps the area warm up, encourages blood flow through the area. So I'm trying to keep the leg straight when I swing the leg back, so I get a nice stretch in the hip. And this is another hip stretch, hips and adductors. So I'm trying to keep my heels as close together as I can, and my elbows are pushing the knees away, and then I'm gently bouncing up and down. So I have always been really tight in my adductors, my inner thighs. So I often spend a lot of time trying to loosen them up, because if you are tight in your inner thighs, which a lot of people are, it will affect your squat because it will pull your knees in. So that could be one of the reasons why, if your knees cave inwards, that may not be the only reason, but it is one reason why sometimes people's knees cave inwards, because they're tight in their adductors or they're also weak in the glutes. But we're going to add 5 kilo each side now. And now I'm going to hang from the bar. Anyone who's trained with me will know how much I go on and on and on about the benefits of hanging from the bar. See how as I'm hanging there, I'm shaking my hips out? So I'm stretching my spine, and then I'll often just hang from one arm like that, crisscross the legs, and do a diagonal stretch. Because not only does it go all the way down my shoulders, my back, it also goes into my lower back. So it's a very good lower back stretch. Anyone who's tight in their lower back, this is the stretch you should do. First of all, hanging from both arms, and then hanging from each arm with a diagonal twist like that. And it's so good for just stretching the spine back out. Which obviously when you're squatting, you're going to load your spine. So stretching the spine out in between is a great way of warming up, protecting your back, and decompressing the spine. So another warm-up set of squats. This time it's 10 reps with 30 kilos. So I can feel that my ankles are still a little bit tight. So even though I've rolled them out, I am going to do an ankle stretch. When you hit full depth on a squat, so if you're able to get all the way down, then you're able to get full extension through the glutes. So if you've got mobility restrictions, you're tight through your body anywhere, it will stop you from getting low in your squats, which means you're not getting the best angle in the squat, the most effective angle for actually building muscle in the glutes. So that's why mobility training is so valuable, and doing your whole entire body, not just your legs, not just your ankles and your knees, but even your shoulders, even your back, your intercostals, because they allow you to get into the right position. And obviously you also reduce the risk of injury. But mobility is joint stability too, so it means that you're able to stabilize your joints, and even if you do end up going really heavy, then your joints are able to actually take the load. So now I'm foam rolling my upper glutes, not my glute max, but my upper glute, my glute medius. When I was doing these mobility drills back in 2017 when I was training for the Universe, I was doing this particular mobility drill here where I was foam rolling my glute max, and then I rolled the foam roller up my glutes a little bit one day, and I couldn't believe how painful it was. I had no idea that I was overactive in my upper glutes. They were rock hard. And I would sit on the foam roller and my legs would shake. The pain would refer all the way down my legs. I had no idea, and that I didn't realize at the time that I was struggling to activate my glutes, and it was because my glute medius was overactive. If a muscle is overactive, it's generally because it's weak. So first of all, you need to reduce the habit of the tension, the being overactive. So things like foam rolling to release and relax the muscle. And then you need to build it up with strength. So people tell me all the time they struggle to activate their glutes. Sometimes it's the reason why, not always, but sometimes the reason why is because the muscle is weak, which means it's overactive, so it's always tight. And if a muscle's always tight, then it's pretty much impossible to create mind-muscle connection. So it wasn't until I started doing my foam rolling more frequently that I realized that I was overactive in my upper glutes, and so I actually started doing this mobility drill far more regularly. So this warm-up drill that I'm showing you now, there was a time in 2017 where I did this whole entire warm-up drill, including all the squat warm-ups, before every weight training session. So it didn't matter if I was doing legs, it didn't matter if I was training shoulders, it didn't matter if I was training back, it didn't matter if I was training chest. I did all these mobility drills, including all the squats. So I used the squat for a warm-up. Even if I was training shoulders, I used squats for warm-up, because I knew I needed to warm up my glutes to be able to foam roll them and loosen them off. So I was killing two birds with one stone, basically. Now I've taken off the 5 and I'm swapping it for a 10, so we're going for 40 kilos now. And again, when you're foam rolling, I think it's more effective if you do it in between your warm-up sets, rather than just doing a whole bunch of foam rolling on its own. Because when you're doing warm-up sets, you're encouraging more blood flow through your body, and then when you foam roll, you're actually able to loosen off a little bit easier, rather than doing all your foam rolling when you're cold and tight and seized up. So that's why I like the combination of progressively adding weight to the bar. So these are still warm-up squats, they're not working weight squats, but they're warming the body up enough that when I do the mobility drills in between, I'm getting more out of those mobility drills. So now I'm just doing 6 reps. I can feel that my glutes have loosened off a little bit now, which is good. Ankles still need more stretch. And see how I point my elbows down when I squat? It just helps me keep my chest up, which means that my spine stays in that nice neutral position. So now I'm going to do a hard static stretch for the ankle joint. So what I'm doing now, I'm just checking that you can see me in the camera, is I'm going to tuck my foot all the way under. So I'm going to get my heel as close to the squat rack as I can, and then I'm going to push my knee towards the squat rack and hold that position hard. So right now it's hurting quite a lot. So I'm stretching out the calf and trying to get more mobility through the ankle joint. See, a gentle bounce is okay too. So I'm never trying to force it, I just want to go past that point where it's comfortable. Tucking the heel all the way under, so try and get the heel as close as you can, and then push the knee towards the squat rack, and I'm pulling with my hand as well. So often with a mobility drill or a stretch, we don't want to just do them passively, we actually want to just take it slightly past that point of comfort so that the muscle has a reason to lengthen. Now I'm adding the 5 back on, so now I've got 50 kilos. Always taking notes. Make sure I've got on the right angle. Now I'm going to do 3 reps. So I'm not training to fatigue. As I'm progressively adding weight, I'm doing less and less reps. Enough to warm the body up without it actually doing any work yet. See, now I'm able to get quite a bit lower with my squat. And that's thanks to that stretch through the ankle. Now I'm going to hang again because I can tell that my body really needs some stretching through the spine. And even when I watch these squats, I can see I've still got a little bit of a mobility restriction in my back, which is pretty common for me. I started with pretty much a surfboard back. It was rock hard. So it's taken me a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility drills over the year to get an arch in my back. Let's add some more. Now we're going to do 60 kilos. Now this is very painful. I'm foam rolling quads, but down near my knee, so not the top of my thighs, but the bottom of my thighs, and see how I'm turning my feet to the side, which means I'm also foam rolling my adductors, and that is very, very painful. I am very tight there. The insertion point for the adductors is on the inside, near the inside of the knee. So when you foam roll that part, if your adductors are tight and you've got all your body weight on it, it's a very, very intense foam rolling exercise. which means I need to do it more often. If you find a foam rolling exercise is more intense than another, for example, your adductors feels more intense than your thighs, that's a good sign you need to do it more often. It happened to me with my glute medius, so when I first started doing it, it was so painful. I could barely handle it for a few seconds. But because I did it every single day, eventually they relaxed. And now when I do my glute medius, they might be a little bit tight, but they loosen off pretty quick. So it all comes back to the frequency. If you do it every day for 10 minutes, you'll get a much better result than if you do it once or twice a week for an hour. And again, if you find any particularly sore spots, try to stop on it for a little bit. Wait until the pain dissipates and then start rolling forward and back. A little bit exhausted after that. Okay, 1 rep. Yep, nice. So if you're doing this as a dedicated mobility drill or rehab session, you might just do this final stretch and then call it a day. See, I've got one leg forward, but it's out to the side, and I'm pushing the knee out with my elbow. So this is a very good hip, hamstring, and adductor stretch. 10 or 12 each side. But I'm going to do 2 working sets today. So I'm going to do 2 sets of about 6 reps with 60 kilos. I haven't squatted at all in any of my programs for about 6 months. But going through these drills again makes me realise that I haven't been doing them frequently enough. So I'm going to put this warm-up drill, this mobility drill, the whole thing, back into my programming, because I can feel how all these mobility drills, when done on a regular basis, makes a big difference to all my lifting. So not just to my squats, but to my chest press, my shoulder press, stiff-legged deadlift, everything. So it might be called a squat mobility warm-up, but really it's a mobility drill for the whole entire body that also has squats in it. A little bit of a hamstring stretch first, so bent forward at the hips, fluttering the knees. Alright, here we go. This is a working set. Focused on depth and form over how many reps. So I am able to get a little bit lower than thigh parallel, but I'm able to do that without tucking my butt under or losing that arch in my back. So I'm pretty happy with these squats. I've certainly squatted a little bit more than that in the past, but if you haven't done any barbell back squats for a while, I tend to start a little bit lighter, and then over the weeks I slowly build up to trying to get a PB. But just being able to get that little bit lower due to all the mobility drills beforehand, the intensity is so much higher, because when you get lower in a squat, not only are you lengthening through the glutes more, but it's also more load through lower back. This is one way you can stretch out your lats. So I'm holding onto the bar and I'm turning my hips side to side, stretching out my upper back, just because I've had that load go through my back. So you can see here I'm not really going all the way to failure when I do these working sets. With a squat, I would never take it to actual failure. I take it to technical failure, where I feel like I'm not able to keep the same technique. Because my own personal belief with no matter what strength training exercise you're doing, you're only as strong as your weakest muscle, which with a barbell back squat is your lower back. So it's a smaller muscle group. Even if it's strong, it's still smaller than your legs and butt. So if your lower back can no longer do the work correctly, that's the safest place to stop. So does it mean that I might have sacrificed some muscle growth because I don't take these things all the way to failure? Well, yeah, I probably have. But I've also never been injured, which means I've been able to train consistently. So it really comes back to what your goal is. For me, especially when you're doing bodybuilding, the risk of injury is just not worth it. There's lots of other exercises you can also do to train your legs and butt where the risk of injury is a lot lower. And I'm not saying then you shouldn't do squats, because there's benefits in squats that you don't get from other exercises. But that's why I think it's so good to use it for a warm-up, because you're using lighter weights, but you can see how many different joints you need to use when you're doing a squat. You're using your ankle joint, you're using your knee joint, you're using your hip joint, you're using your shoulder joint. So to be able to mobilize all of those joints and do a squat with really good form, what happens over time then is it improves all your other lifts, because having good ankle mobility is great for other exercises. Having hip mobility is great for other exercises. Shoulder mobility, great for other exercises. So if you can do a squat with really good form, but not necessarily with a super heavy weight, you've actually improved yourself for lots of other exercises in the gym. So this is my second working set, last working set for the video, and I'm pretty happy with these. And that's taken me half an hour to get through. One more stretch, an adductor stretch. I know you can't actually see my leg very well here, but I've got my leg up on the spotting arm and I'm putting all my body weight onto the opposing leg. So I'm actually pushing the opposing leg away, and that is stretching my inner thigh. Just one last stretch while my body's all warmed up from doing those heavier sets. I just want to do this one last adductor stretch. Let's do the other side. Good, you can see a little bit better on this side. So with that elbow that you can see there, I'm pushing the opposite knee away, and that's giving me a really intense stretch through my inner thigh. So if you do this on a regular basis, 2 or 3 times a week, you watch how it elevates all your other workouts and not just your leg day. Yeah.
Now, if you enjoyed this and you want a proper structured squat program, the next thing for you to do is join my school. This is where I show you how to structure your training over a whole entire year, because you're not a beginner, you are past that stage. Click the link in the description, you can try it free for 7 days, and you know what, if you don't like it, no hard feelings.